Welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another episode of Apple Home Talk Live, where we just hang out and talk about all things smart home in the Apple ecosystem primarily. But yeah, we get all over the place here. It's so good to see you guys. How's everybody doing today? Let me know in the comments where you're from. How's the weather? All that good stuff. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat as we kind of get rolling, and then we got some stuff to talk about today for sure. And I will be taking a lot of questions today also, so stick around for that if that's something you're interested in. Frederick, thank you. Appreciate that. Looks and sounds good. Let's check out my pop-up, make sure everything's working good as we get rolling. All right, let's resize that a little bit. All right, thank you, Frederick. So it looks and sounds good. Pamakit from France. What's going on? How you doing? Hair Riot in the house. What's up, Hair Riot? Ben Turin is here. John Wolf. What's up, John Wolf? John says, I got the third reality switch for my kitchen and a motion sensor, and it works great. Nice. Yeah, I've been using the third reality motion sensors in my kitchen here, as you may have saw in that recent video. Eric from the Netherlands. What's up, Eric? Dan's here. What's going on, Dan? How you doing today, man? Hope you're doing well. Having a good day. A lot of channel members in the house. Thank you guys for hanging out and being channel members. Juan, what's going on, Juan? William. Rhett, what's up, Rhett? Good to see you here. All right, hope everybody's doing well. Juan, Larry, what's up, Larry? Good to see you. Happy Wednesday. Weather is probably 80 here in Atlanta, Georgia. Not bad, not bad at all. Yeah, Georgia weather is usually not too far off from the weather I have here. Not very far. Let's see, let me resize some of my stuff here. Juan says, can you guys read that? Let me know if I need to make these bigger. Trying to get it just right for you. I also did the 72-hour fast. Oh, cool. Did you end up doing it the same time I did it, Juan? I ended up doing 82 hours. I have said I should have done that a long time ago. I didn't know how much my body needed to do a reset. FYI, mineral water was the key. Nice, man. Thank you for sharing that. For those who have no idea what Juan is talking about, over on Instagram, last week I did a 72-hour water fast. This is not smart home related at all, but we're just going to chat for a minute and then we'll get into it. So over on Instagram, I share a lot more like behind the scenes and stuff I'm working on, smart home related and not. And one of the things I've been wanting to do kind of for a while was like an extended water fast, just for health reasons and stuff like that. And I was kind of pushed to do that recently after some research and stuff. I have a good friend that was recently diagnosed with cancer, somebody who's younger than me. And I've just seen that kind of stuff so often. And, you know, water, like extended fasting seems to be something that a lot of people really recommend just to kill those bad cancer cells and all kinds of stuff like that in your body. So I'm no health expert by any means, but I try to stay healthy. And so, yeah, so I did it too. Juan says he went 82 hours. I tell you what, Juan, for the first 2 days, I felt great. So like, you know, get a little hungry here and there, push through it. Really no problems at all. I actually had a lot of energy. That third day kicked my butt though, man. I'm telling you, the third day I was just miserable. So I was so tired and lethargic. I was told by somebody else that like after the third day, it gets better if you keep going. And like the third day is the worst. I don't know. I guess everybody's different. But I was told that if you get to the fourth day, then you start feeling energetic again, like the first couple of days. But I didn't make it past 72 hours. But I did make 72 hours, which was my goal. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this. So I was happy that I made my goal like to the minute. I was like, I feel so bad. Once that 72-hour mark hit, I was right in the kitchen finding something to eat, and I felt better right away. But yeah, I probably needed to do better about like electrolytes. Maybe I should have drank a little more water than I did. So it's a learning process, but it was good, and I will do it again. So that's encouraging. You made it to 82 hours. How'd you feel during that time? I'm curious. You know, if if you had days or moments like I did where you just didn't feel great or not. But over the first 2 days were great. So I'm definitely going to do probably like, a couple 48-hour fast, that'd probably be pretty doable, I think. But yeah, I'd like to do another extended one in the future. Frederick says, please ask your question once and don't spam the chat. Also, all caps not allowed. Thank you, Frederick. Yes, no shouting. Use your inside voices. Appreciate that, Frederick. Yeah, and if you have a question, and we're going to get to some questions here in a second, preface your comment with the word question, and I'm going to do my best to flag all the questions, and we'll come back to them when we can. Let's see, what's up from Cincinnati, Chris? Terry Lee's in the house. What's up, Terry? Terry Lee White, sorry, Terry White. I know you as Terry White, Terry Lee White. Finally made it home on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. I'm glad you could make it here, Terry. Good to see you here. We were chatting a little bit in our Discord server earlier. For all the channel members, or if you're not a channel member and you haven't checked out the Discord server, definitely do that. You have to be a YouTube channel member to get access to that Discord server, but great place to chat about your smart home, ask questions, provide insights and stuff like that. A lot of great people like Terry and so many other channel members here over in the Discord server. I get in there every day. It's been such a great resource. Like even for me, I was in there asking some questions recently and getting input from all the awesome members, and yeah, just a great place if you're building a smart home. So check it out if you're a channel member. All right, I see some questions coming. Thank you, Frederick, for explaining all that. Appreciate everybody. So I did want to share a couple things, and then we'll hop into some questions. Larry said, let me read that real quick. I'm so interested in this. Where is that comment? Sorry, I'm kind of like moving already. Larry said, I can't do a 3-day fast, but I do intermittent fasting. Okay. Sorry, I'm really interested in all this stuff. My last meal is at 6, and then I don't eat until noon the next day. Yeah, I've been a huge fan of intermittent fasting. We're going to have a little health talk today. I've done intermittent fasting for years. It has like helped me significantly in a number of different ways. So yeah, I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting as well. But this was the first extended fast that I did, and you'd be surprised. It's like I said, the first 2 days really weren't that hard for me. Third day was a challenge. That could be because maybe it was like a Friday. The third day was a Friday. I was hanging around the pool with some friends, and everybody was like drinking beer and eating pizza. That was kind of tough. Maybe don't do that. But oh man, Terry, thank you so much. Terry just gifted 5 channel memberships. Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate that. So let's see. Baba Isn't Trolling, who's been a member before, I think. Chris, Childers, JMI, Frank, a number of you guys, Eric, all received a channel membership. Awesome. So thank you again, Terry, for doing that. As a channel member, a gifted channel member, you have a membership for a month, and then you can renew if you want, or you don't have to, and it'll just expire. But as a channel member, you get access to that member Discord server, early access to new videos. We do some behind the scenes stuff. I'm actually working on a video that I'm probably going to post just for channel members real soon. Well, probably in the near future. But yeah, so behind the scenes and stuff like that, you get as a channel member. Also, our monthly member video chat, which we do on the first Wednesday of every month. So that'll be next Wednesday, actually. I can't believe it's, gosh, summertime is just right around the corner. It's already almost May. So that's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. How do you get the ads not to come up in your live stream? I usually have ads turned off. Yeah, I don't have ads turned on today. So I usually turn that off on the live streams just for you guys. So I know that's probably annoying, but yeah, during the live streams, I usually have ads turned off. So you shouldn't see them anyways. But yeah, as Frederick said, YouTube Premium, you can subscribe for that for sure. And then you won't have ads on any of your YouTube videos, which, man, YouTube Premium, like I resisted that for a long time, even as a YouTuber. And eventually I just pulled the trigger, and that was probably the best money spent every month. I watch, like when I watch TV or video or whatever, it's usually YouTube, and yeah, I don't regret that decision at all. YouTube Premium is awesome. Turn never get ads in the streams. Yeah, you really shouldn't, because I normally turn those off unless I maybe forget or something. All right, let's jump into a couple things real quick, and then we'll do some questions and chat with you guys a little more. I wanted to share this. This was shared, I think Trent, who I don't believe is here today, shared this over on our Discord server, and just wanted to bring this to your attention, get your thoughts on it, and we won't harp too much on it, but this was a recent article. This was over on 9to5Mac, and says millions of Airplay devices can be hacked over Wi-Fi and CarPlay as well. So kind of a jarring headline there. So I wanted to read into this a little bit more. And so it says there was a security vulnerabilities were discovered in Apple's Airplay SDK, which, you know, millions of devices, you know, support Airplay. And this says that, you know, all these devices could be attacked by hackers. The flaw has been dubbed airborne. So related vulnerabilities would have allowed hackers to attack Apple devices as well, but the iPhone maker says that the issues fixed for these, says that it has issued fixes for these in the past few months. It says CarPlay devices are also vulnerable, but that's really unlikely and difficult. So to explain it a little bit more, I think we can go down here. So in order for, like, not to freak anybody out, right? It's really unlikely. So first of all, the attacker would have to gain access to your Wi-Fi network. So they have to be on your Wi-Fi network in order to attack your devices. And so that, first of all, is unlikely, especially if you have good network security. Where this kind of becomes maybe a little more scary would be, you know, public Wi-Fi's and stuff like that. So that's why it's really important not to get on like public Wi-Fi. Also really important to have good network security at your home network. You know, all the things like we talk about, you know, just make sure you're doing, and I think you'll be fine. But I did want to share this with you guys. And let's see, it says, so of course Apple can issue, you know, an update to fix these. I guess the problem is that has to do with Airplay, and there's just tons of devices out there with Airplay. So, you know, again, update all your devices as well when possible, just a good practice to do. Let's see, so yeah, let's talk about worst case scenario, which is unlikely. Yeah, here we go. CarPlay devices are also vulnerable to this attack, although in that case, the attacker would need to be able to pair their device to CarPlay, to your car. So again, even more unlikely than the first. So just wanted to share that because it was kind of, you know, like I said, a little jarring when you see something like that, but wanted to check that out. Looks like it's, you know, pretty unlikely. Take good security best practices, and I think you'll be okay. What do you guys think? Let's see. Got some questions here, a lot of questions. Okay, let me save these. Hair Riot says it's the best money I spend now for any streaming device. Talking about YouTube Premium. Yeah, I think I would agree. And I have a number of streaming services now, but yeah, YouTube Premium probably gets utilized the most. All right, we got some questions here. A lot of questions, man. All right. Frederick says, keep your software and firmware up to date. Yes, sir. Exactly. Definitely something to stay on top of. Yeah, usually when you look into a little deeper into a lot of these, you know, articles and these attacks and hacks and stuff like that happen, you know, if you just good practices usually prevent a lot of the issues. All right. Bill, what's up, Bill? Happy hump day to you as well. Hope you're having a good day. All right. So we'll move on. Let's talk about some new devices we haven't talked about yet on the stream. And there's just so many new devices coming out all the time. It's kind of hard to keep up, but we're going to try. So here's a couple of things. Aqara released a couple of things. This is probably a week or so old. They released this new camera kit. This is not new. This isn't new devices, but a new kit that you can buy. I think this is a great little starter kit for somebody, or maybe a good gift for somebody who likes smart home stuff, maybe wants to tinker a little bit, or thinking about getting into smart home stuff. It comes with the Camera Hub G3. Comes with a motion sensor, a vibration sensor, and a door sensor. Of course, the camera is a camera, but it's also a Zigbee hub, so you could pair all those little sensors to the camera hub. Just again, a great way to get started. Sports home kit, all that good stuff. So pretty cool little kit right here. I mean, really good price, I think, for all you get with that. I mean, you could do a lot with that if you're just getting started. So pretty cool, I think. Some other stuff Aqara just came out with and released was the Aqara Climate Sensor W100. So this is a sensor basically with a nice little display on it. And let's look, and it has 3 buttons. This does support Matter. It supports Thread and Zigbee, which is really cool. So you see right here, works with Matter, Thread, and Zigbee. I really like how Aqara has been doing this with a lot of their recent products. They support Zigbee or Thread, so you have the choice. It could be a little confusing to people maybe just getting started or don't really understand the protocols. That is why I just decided to make that last video in my Apple Home 101 series. Well, I guess it was 2 videos ago that we're doing this Apple Home 101 series on the channel right now. And that's really why I wanted to explain, at least surface level, what these different protocols are in your smart home, because people might look at stuff like this, or even worse, other products who don't have options and maybe supports Zigbee or Thread or Wi-Fi or something, and people don't understand the difference until they get it in their house and it doesn't work. So I do think it's important to understand those protocols, which is again why we discussed that in that recent video. But this here supports both, which is awesome. So you have the option to choose. You do have a little more functionality if you're using Zigbee with this, kind of like their smart light switches that they released not too long ago. But here you can see it says Thread or Zigbee right there, and it has these 3 buttons. So these are basically exposed like a smart button. So you can program these to really do anything. Each one supports, looks like single press, double press, and long press. Kind of standard for like a HomeKit smart button, but really cool. So you get this into your Apple Home ecosystem, whether you're using Thread or Zigbee. Choice is yours. Once you do that, you could use these buttons to control anything. So it can control your Nanoleaf smart lights, or your door lock or whatever, which is pretty cool. These can also be paired with Aqara, like let's see right here with the Aqara HVAC stuff. So I think you've got the Aqara radiator thermostat that this could pair to. Oh, you could also pair it with an air conditioner through IR with the M3. So the M3 has the capability to add air conditioners as an IR device. So you could actually pair this to one of those types of devices and control the thermostat for those devices, which is pretty neat. And another cool thing is that you can pair other Aqara sensors, temperature sensors. So I don't know if you can see this right here, but down here you can actually show the display, or you can display the temperature and humidity of another sensor in your home if you wanted to on this display. So pretty cool little device, actually cooler than I expected. Like I was not too excited when I first saw this. I saw this at CES and I just didn't really think it was for me, but pretty nice little display there. I like that you can use all 3 buttons however you want through your smart home ecosystem and stuff. So pretty nice stuff. Check in with the comments. You guys still talking about ads? Question: does the Aqara climate sensor read outside or inside temperature? So it has a sensor built into it, so it reads inside temperature. The Let me see here. I think it shows somewhere the sensor. It talks about the sensor. Precise sensor with display. So yeah, it's a sensor built into it. I thought maybe it showed kind of more underneath that. But yeah, it has the sensors built in. But what's cool, like I just mentioned, is you can link external sensors too. So, if you have an outdoor sensor, I think it has to be Aqara sensors, I think, if you want to link additional ones to it to get that extra little display right there. But, the Aqara, the little Aqara temperature sensors are so cheap. I mean, I would throw one of those outside. I've got one in my refrigerator, if it lasts a year or 2 years and I have to replace it, it's not the end of the world. But you could link other temperature sensors to this, so you could actually get indoor and outdoor with that, which is kind of cool. George is in the house. What's going on, George? Didn't see you here earlier. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Lots of questions. We're going to have to get to those. I'm coming. And lastly, I did just want to share this one too. This was the more Aqara stuff. The Aqara M100 Hub. I'm not going to talk too much about this. Lots of Aqara hubs are available. This is basically an update to their, I can't even remember what the original one was called. But this is just like a little USB stick, basically. So these are really good for anybody who wants to get into Aqara and add child devices without having to get one of the other hubs. It's the most affordable Aqara hub that you can buy. What's the price on this? Yeah, $26, You can add, and this one supports Matter. It supports Thread. So you could add Thread devices to Aqara. It supports Zigbee. And you should be able to get all your Aqara devices. Let's see, Aqara Matter over Thread and Wi-Fi. Oh, does it? It does support Zigbee, right? Maybe just, yeah, Aqara Zigbee devices. Okay. But these are good. I actually used one of these, the original one, not the updated one, when my son moved out and had an apartment, because he's not huge into smart home stuff, but he just wanted like a smart lock and I hooked him up with a couple cameras. But the smart lock was the Aqara lock, and it needed an Aqara hub. So I just used, the really affordable little dongle, just kind of tuck it out of the way somewhere. So some good stuff Aqara is bringing out, I think, for people who are, kind of starting their smart home journey. Worth checking out. Speaking of Aqara, I actually had one of my Aqara water sensors go off on me like last week, and I highly recommend these. We've talked about them a number of times on this channel, but the little water sensor, it was under my kids' bathroom, under their sink in their bathroom, and it was a very, very slow, small leak that I would probably have never known about until, I don't know, I guess until there was mold or something, but it went off and alerted me of the issue, and I was able to fix it. So highly recommend water sensors, whether it's Aqara or someone else. Those definitely are worth their weight. Let's see. Checking out some of the comments. All right, I got a number of... Larry says, what's the best, speaking of water sensors here, what's the best way to get the Aqara, I guess you meant Aqara, the Aqara leak detectors to work with your Bulldog. So you're going to have to get them into the same smart home ecosystem somehow. So there's a few different versions of the Bulldog valve, and I don't know if you have that integrated into HomeKit. It doesn't support HomeKit natively, but you can get it in there through like Homey or Home Assistant or Homebridge. So there's a number of ways to do that. Or if you're not using HomeKit, maybe you're using Google Home or Lady A, whatever it is, you just need to get your Aqara, whatever sensor you're using and whatever valve controller you're using, you just need to get them under the same roof, basically, in the same smart home ecosystem. Then you can just create an automation that says when water is detected, turn off the Bulldog valve. So that's how you would do that. Torrin says the water sensors are definitely gold. And I'm telling you, I've heard so many stories through our Discord server, even my own personal family and friends. So many stories where water sensors have saved the day, and horror stories from people who don't have water sensors, and they end up going and getting some after their horror story. Water damage is not anything to play with. So yeah, I've ended up putting these at like all my family's houses. They have been alerted for leaks too since doing that. So yeah, highly recommend. All right, let me let's see, anything. I kind of was going to talk about some other stuff, but nothing too important. Let's go ahead and hop into some questions. How about that? I see you guys got a lot of them, so I'm going to start with some of the ones I've flagged already. Question here: have you used the Aqara W100 temperature and humidity device? That is the new one, right? I have not used it. So we just covered that device, Brian, but I have not used it myself yet. I'm not sure if I will, but maybe. Austin, is your friend still using the SwitchBot S10 you installed for them? How has it been working? Last I heard, it's been working well. That friend actually moved. That's the S10 is the robot vacuum for those curious. Last I heard from them, they were using it, and I didn't hear any complaints, but they moved they actually lived in my neighborhood, and they moved like a few months back, and I haven't really talked to them much. And if I do, we haven't talked about the robot vacuum, but last I spoke with them, they were happy with it, but it's been a little while since I talked to them. I don't know if anybody else has the SwitchBot S10 and would like to share some thoughts on it. But yeah, that's kind of my experience with it so far. Let's see. William says, or asks, the power recovery options on the Nanoleaf Skylight are okay, but I want a smart switch to deliver constant power and control the lights. Are there any switches other than the Nanoleaf Sense Plus? Yeah, there are. You can do, what you really have to look for is any switch that has essentially a smart bulb mode. It might be called different things from different manufacturers, but what that is the ability to, well, first of all, there's a number of wireless buttons that you can use, but if you're looking for an actual switch, and see like the Nanoleaf Sense Plus, I actually have it right here. The Nanoleaf Sense Plus is a wireless button, so that's not even really a switch. It's a wireless button. There's a number of wireless buttons that you can use. Just make sure it works in your ecosystem. Like if you're using Apple Home, as long as you can get it into Apple Home, you can program your button. Again, there's a number of them. You got Aqara wireless buttons. Philips Hue has wireless buttons. They actually have like a switch device kind of similar to this that would work in HomeKit. Let's see what other. There again, lots of wireless buttons you can use. If you want an actual switch that's hardwired, to replace an existing switch, again, you need to look for something that has that like wire, that smart bulb mode. And what that does is that basically allows you to turn off the physical control of the switch. And so if you push the switch, it doesn't actually cut the power there like it normally would. And some of those that do that, Innovelli has the ability to do that. I'll pull some up real quick so you can see what we're talking about. We've talked about Innovelli a bunch on the channel, but Innovelli makes some that can do this. So they've got different versions here, the collections. They've got a Z-Wave, a matter over thread version, which this is the one I've used. They have the Zigbee version. So depending on kind of your setup, you can get one of these. Again, the white series doesn't require any extra hubs or whatever, just a thread border router like your HomePod, and you can use this. Aqara's new switches actually work. They have the ability to cut off the physical control there. What do they call it? I think they call it wireless switch mode. I'm actually gonna, where I was using this one on the wall, I'm planning on probably using the new Aqara switch that has the 4 buttons. That way I just have more programmable buttons for like my scenes and stuff right there at that switch that's here in this studio. So those are a couple to look at. Let's see, are there any others? I think LifeX has one, a physical switch. Yeah, Michael Lewis says, yeah, the new Aqara switches had that option. Yep. So like I said, I think I'm going to put one in here because I've been wanting to use that one with the 4 buttons. Problem is I get to the point where I have so many like smart buttons around my house that I forget what does what. So I got to be kind of strategic. I'm trying to be more strategic about that stuff nowadays. But yeah, I'm going to try something like Keenan says. I got my Sense Plus up and running in end of January, and that big battery died. It is a big battery. Replaced it a Wemo stage, and I hoped it would solve my battery issues. Wish you could see the charge level on the Sense Plus. Yeah, I've had some issues with that too. I've seen the battery drain on that, and I was not sure if it was me or what, but yeah, it seems that the battery is draining fast on this. The Wemo stage was known for that issue too, just battery draining really fast. And so I stopped using the Wemo stage also a long time ago. That's kind of why I'm thinking, that's why another reason why I want to put a different, like just a hardwired switch. I was using Innovelli for a while, which is a really cool switch. But if you hardwire one, you don't have to worry about batteries and stuff. So I think I'm just going to hardwire one, program that to control the skylight, which is what I have in here. Through some automations and stuff like that, and then I'll have extra buttons as well. Okay, I'm trying to flag everybody's questions here. Michael says, "Oh, the Aqara switches only have 1 command per button." Interesting. I'm kind of surprised to hear that. But yeah, I have not used it in that mode yet. So I'm using, actually, let me see. I do have one. Sometimes I forget what I've set up in my house. I do have one in a different room in the house. Where is that switch at? I can't find it. I thought I put it in that room. I've also been reorganizing my smart home and trying to fix up a lot of stuff here lately. Let's see, Aqara Hub. There we go, accessories. Oh, maybe I put it in the foyer. Oh, there it is. Yep, you're right. Single press. That one that I have has 2 buttons, and yeah, single press for both of those. Huh. See, I didn't even remember that because I'm just using mine. It's the one with the 2, kind of the single one, and I'm using it in a 3-way switch, and I'm using it actually to just control a lamp. So like the top is on and the bottom is off. So I'm not using it for automations. But yeah, good point there. So only one, but that's probably good for me. I found that when I have too many buttons and like single press, double press, triple press, and then you got 4 buttons, like I can't remember what they all do anyways. So maybe that's just me. I don't know. Oh, interesting. Palmakit says you can have 3 commands per button for Aqara if you connect over HomeKit, kind of the legacy HomeKit, instead of through Matter. Interesting. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, my M3 hub is what I'm using for my Aqara child devices right now, and I'm using it through Matter now. Okay. Oh, thanks, Al. Al says the new H2 switch, the bottom button has 3 presses. The top only has 1. I'm using, mine is the, um, yeah, mine is the 2-button one. Well, no, I guess mine is not. It's probably a different one. They have a few different versions. Let's pull them up so people can see what we're talking about. Pull it up maybe on Amazon. So this is the switch we're talking about here. That's the one that I'm using because I can use that. I think that's the only one you can use in a 3-way light switch scenario. Then you got the 2-channel. That's probably the one you're talking about there, Al, where the bottom one maybe you can do program up to 3 actions. And then this is the one that I want to put here in the studio so I can just have a few extra buttons for different automations. So yeah, that's an option though, but you can disable that from cutting off the actual power and then use those for your Nanoleaf skylight or whatever. So yeah, trust me, I only use one command for smart buttons for my sanity and to keep the wife happy. Yeah, I hear you there. I even have like, I have a flick button that I use all the time by my bedside, and sometimes I even forget what like the double press and the long press does on that, and I use that thing like every day. But yeah, I feel you. It is kind of cool to use, like you can use maybe single actions, single presses for buttons just for like major stuff that the family might use, and then you can kind of hide other little actions or automations underneath like a double press or a long press, maybe that just you know about. That's kind of a trick you might be able to use. Yes, yes, sir. It says, I'm definitely a big fan of the scenes, switches, and functionality, but definitely the only person in the house that uses the multi-command stuff. Yeah, I hear you there. Mark, not sure what you mean there, Mark. How are you integrating? I'm not sure. Are you talking about the Aqara light switch? I'm using those. The one I only have one set up right now, and if that's what you're asking about, I'm using that over Zigbee through the Aqara M100 Hub. All right, let's get to some more of these questions here. Is the Aqara G5 camera with 32 gigs available anywhere in the US? I've checked Best Buy and other retailers as well as Amazon and Aqara without success. I have not seen them anywhere. I was told that they were going to be sold. That was their kind of offline version. So like, I guess in store, I was hoping maybe Best Buy would offer them. I'll take a look on Best Buy. You said you've already looked, so it's probably not. Last I checked, though, I can't even find it on Best Buy. Dang, I can't even find it on Best Buy now. The G5 Pro. It's on Amazon, but Amazon's definitely the 8 gigabyte version. Yeah, I'm not even seeing it on Amazon, or I mean on Best Buy anymore. So, but yeah, I have not been able to find it anywhere with the 32 gigabyte version either. It's definitely not going to be on Amazon from what I was told. That's going to be the 8 gigabyte version. 32 is what, I don't know what I just said, but you know what I meant. Question, any thoughts on Wiz releasing a cheaper sync box and lights? The parent company Signify also makes Philips Hue sync box. Let's check out Wiz sync box. Signify. Here looks like a little article. I don't think we're going to see any photos here. Unleash colors from your TV screen with Wiz HDMI sync box. Let's see if we can find out a little bit more about this. I don't know anything about this one. So it uses HDMI. It's an HDMI sync box, and these are great for like, you know, having the LED strips kind of change colors based on what's on your TV if you haven't used one of these. Let's see. I'm trying to see if they give us any specs about it. North America, only $90. Well, yeah, so, okay, yeah, so it comes with the light strip. Depending on the size, not too bad. Pricing. These are probably, they're Matter compatible. I was trying to see if it tells us what protocol it uses. These are probably Wi-Fi. I haven't used any, let's see. I haven't used any Wiz lights before. But hey, I'm a fan of more options. Does anybody else use Wiz lights? I've not used any before. I know some people who have. But you know, I'm a fan of better options. Like Philips Hue sync box was so expensive, or is so expensive. That's why I never got one, and that was one reason. And I thought I never really would have cared too much about the colors changing on the TV when I was watching TV. Turns out it is pretty cool. I didn't get the Philips Hue one, but I got the one that Govee makes. Govee makes an HDMI sync box also. It's like maybe half the price or a third of the price of the Philips Hue one. And it's been working really well. I've been happy with it. It supports Matter. And oddly enough, my wife actually really likes that light strip. Like that shocked me. I didn't think she ever cared about any of that stuff, but she says she really likes the lights that change when we're watching TV and stuff. So yeah, you know, there's cheaper options, and I'm just a fan of that. I'd like to know what connection protocol this uses, this Wiz one. But the Govee one uses Wi-Fi. It's Matter over Wi-Fi, and it's been working great for me. So John says Wiz had trouble connecting and gave up. Mike says Wiz not so good. Sorry. So it looks like some people have not had the best experiences with Wiz devices. Ben says, I got a Wiz light strip to play with, but it doesn't hold the color set in scenes. Prefer Hue or Govee. Yeah, Hue's kind of premium. It's always probably going to be better than Wiz, I would imagine. But, you know, Hue costs so much. Govee, you know, they make good stuff at a lot more affordable prices. So I was actually looking at some of the Govee stuff earlier. Actually, before the stream, I was looking at some of their outdoor stuff. They have, look at this. This is just their outdoor lights. There's so many of them. I was looking over here the other day because I have another project coming up that I'm going to be doing with some more outdoor stuff. And I saw something a few of these, like I didn't even know about. They just keep coming out with new devices. This one right here, like this one is kind of like their permanent outdoor lights, but it's different. These you stick and they directly to the house, not under the soffit, and they shine directly outwards. See that? So they're kind of different than those permanent outdoor lights. But I was looking here too because they've got some more outdoor lights coming out very soon that I'm excited about, and they're just always adding new stuff. Let's check out that sync box here from Govee. Where would that be? TV lights. So they have the camera systems, which are a lot cheaper, which is like a camera that you mount on top of your TV. Nanoleaf has one of these also that I've used. So they've got these different kits here. Oh, I thought it would be in here. Let's see. TV lights. Where is that going to be at? Am I missing the sync box? TV lights, LED strip lights. It's not in there, is it? Maybe it's under gaming. There it is. The Govee AI Sync Box Kit 2. So $219 for this one, which is still way cheaper than the Philips Hue one. The Philips Hue is like $300 or $400, I think, just for the box. And then you got to get the light strip, the gradient strip also, which is like another $100 or $200 probably. So yeah, this is definitely a better deal. It's, you know, and it supports Matter, and like I said, that's the one I've been using. Works well. John says Hue Hub is great. You can install devices that, yeah, from other brands. That's right. Yeah, other Zigbee devices and stuff like that. Hue Sync works great with Apple TV. You just plug the Apple TV HDMI out into the sync box, and sync box HDMI to your TV. Good to hear. Yeah, I have no doubt that it probably the Hue sync box probably is fantastic. It's the price that I have a hard time getting around. It's just so expensive. Are all Gobi lights HomeKit compatible? That's a good question. Not all of them are, but like everything that they've released, well, maybe I shouldn't say everything. Almost everything that they've released in the past like year or two has been Matter supported. So anything that supports Matter will work in HomeKit. So when you're looking and you're shopping for Gobi, can you see that? Just make sure it has that Matter logo right there on the box, and you're good to go. It'll work with HomeKit. But like, I mean, they've got so many things now. Like, if I go back, I could go back to those lights that I was just talking about. I didn't even know existed until I think yesterday. Where'd they go? These right here. And these support Matter too, I think. Oh, I don't see the Matter logo. I did read that they support Matter. Yeah, so just look for that. Look for the Matter logo, or just look for it right there to say compatible with Matter. As long as it supports Matter, but most of the Gobi stuff at this point does, but there are still some that don't. So you just got to look for it when you're shopping for Gobi stuff. All right, let's see what other questions we got over here saved. Manic John says, are you still using your 3D printer often, and have you found anything cool to print lately? I use it. I don't use it a ton. So I'll go maybe like a month or a couple months without using it, and then I'll have a good idea, or I'll look for something. I did just use it the other day. I think I shared this on Instagram, but I use it to print this, which is basic, but my family has gotten frustrated, I guess, to put it lightly, with some of the smart locks that I've installed on the front door as of late. So I found this. This was shared to me somewhere, and the file's online. But so cool. This is basically I can install a smart lock on this and test it for a while before putting it on the front door, which I think is going to make my wife a little bit happier. I know it will, because she got locked out of the house recently, and that's never good for any of us. So yeah, this was the most recent print that I did. I was just looking on there or online the other day for like some Unify camera mounts, because I'm about to install a bunch of Unify cameras all around the house. So I was looking at like some different ways to mount some of them in like weird places that I want to put them. So yeah, you kind of it's just really helpful to have the 3D printer if you're doing a lot of like tinkering and stuff around the house. If you don't do a lot, I don't know, it probably just depends on your hobbies, but if you do a lot of tinkering like I do and add new devices and, little mounts and just weird things like that, it's been helpful for me. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, have that issue. Yeah, I know. Every time I've had this one friend that every time I go to their house and we're watching like TV or watching a fight or a football game or something, and there's no light strip behind the TV, that's how I feel now. It's like, what are you doing with no light strip behind your TV? It's a must. Yeah, and Frederick says he feels that way when the lights don't automatically come on when you walk into the bathroom. Do you have a video doorbell, video of Caroline getting locked out. No, I don't. I looked. I wanted to find some footage of that, but I was never able to. I can't remember what the issue was. I was probably testing or changing or something my video doorbells at the time, which I think is what happened. So anyways, I couldn't find any footage from that, but I know she was cussing up a storm when that happened. Andrew says, I tend to keep my parents locked in. Yeah, that's one way to do it with elderly parents. All right. Get to some more of these questions. I appreciate your patience. If you asked a question a while ago, I'm trying to get to as many as I can. Says, wanting to do some under bed LED with motion sensors for lighting up the floor in the middle of the night. If I have to get up, can the Nanoleaf LED strips be bent around the bed frame? I wish I had one. I don't have one around here to show you, but I mean, they're somewhat bendable. I mean, you don't want to do like a 90-degree bend or whatever, but they're somewhat bendable. I mean, you think about kind of putting them around TVs and stuff. Yeah, so I would say you would probably be fine. And especially if you're putting this up under the bed, you can kind of put it in a way where it'll look, you're not going to see it because it's underneath the bed anyways. You're just looking for that light to shine through. So I think you'll be fine pretty much with any LED strip that you want to go with. So I wouldn't worry too much about it being, not being able to bend it or whatever. You can kind of route it however you need, especially in a place like that. I think you'll be fine. Another question says, all of my sensors show up twice in Apple Home. I set them up in the car app, bound them to the G3, and then added the G3 to Home. Any suggestion on how to get them to only show up once? My initial guess is you may have added your Aqara hub. Let's see, you said you're using the G3. You may have added the G3 hub to HomeKit, both through like the legacy sort of HomeKit method and through Matter. So that's probably my guess. And in that case, you would see duplicates of everything. So you just have to kind of determine if that's the case, and then you can just eliminate one of those integrations. But you can add those Aqara hubs to HomeKit through like the traditional HomeKit method or through Matter. So, and you can do both at the same time, which would lead to duplicate devices. That's probably what happened, again, if I had to guess. Do you think Apple TV will get smart home updates at WWDC? I hope to see some smart home updates coming up this year. I really will be, I try not to get my hopes up when it comes to like WWDC or Apple events in general when we're talking about smart home stuff. But I think this year I'll probably get my hopes up if they don't say something, because, we're hearing all the rumors and stuff about the new HomeKit, like the new HomeKit display screens and stuff like that, the hubs that are screens, and we've heard rumors of new Apple TVs, we heard rumors of new HomePods, all these things, and WWDC would be like the great perfect time to introduce a new operating system like Home OS, which is largely based, according to the rumors, on Apple TV. And so I would really hope to see something, but, at the end of the day, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea what Apple's going to do, but I'm hoping, I'll put it that way. I'm hoping this year more than usual. So if they don't, I will be a little bit let down. What do you guys think? Do y'all think this year is going to be the day or the year that we're going to see some good Apple Home updates regarding Apple TV or just other HomeKit in general during WWDC? I really hope so. Thank you, Dan. Dan says, if Shane doesn't get to your question, join the channel and ask over there on Discord. Yeah, great great point. If you're a channel member, definitely reach out over on Discord, and you can reach out to me directly or post in the group in general, and I'll get to you there for sure. I'm there every day. Alex celebrates 29 months of membership. Thank you, Alex, so much for being a channel member. Do I have my applause? Oh, I do. Thank you so much for being a channel member for so long and supporting what we do here. Hopefully, according to rumors, this summer will be a thrill. Yes, I hope so. Man, that would be so much fun. Just think of, I don't know, I dream about that. You know, new Apple updates to Apple Home and all that. How much fun would we have here on this channel? It would be awesome. Edgar says, big iOS update in WWDC. Yeah, we will see big updates again, according to rumors, with iOS this year. Frederick celebrating 34 months of membership and a trusted moderator here in the chat. Thank you, Frederick, for all your support, man. I really appreciate it. Frederick says, oh, and more support. I appreciate that. Please hit the like button and show Shane some love. It really helps the channel. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I often forget to say that. So thank you, Frederick. Let's see. The least Apple can do is power on and off for Apple TV and HomeKit. Regarding HomeKit functionality for your Apple TVs, like automations and stuff, it's almost laughable what you have in there right now. I don't think we're going to really get any updates until, you know, this new like Home OS kind of comes, but you know, I could be wrong. Thank you, Dan. Dan says we got your back. I appreciate that. A couple more questions here. Alex says, do you think Ubiquiti will join Matter for the cameras? No, because at least not anytime soon. I highly doubt it. First of all, Matter doesn't support cameras right now anyways, so there's no cameras that support Matter. And when Matter does support cameras, I think companies like Unify or Ubiquiti will probably wait, you know, a long time, if ever, before they jump on that. I don't think they're going to want to be like an early adopter to that, because that comes with a lot of issues and trouble that they probably don't want. So yeah, that's not something we'll see anytime soon, I don't think. All right, well, I appreciate you guys so much, man. Again, if I didn't get your question, I'm sorry. I tried to get to as many as I could today. I hope the chat helped out today, and I appreciate you guys all for hanging out and talking shop with me here, as always. And again, like Frederick said, if you're a channel member and you have a question or whatever, hop over in Discord and ask me or the rest of the group there. There's some super knowledgeable people over there, including Frederick, Dan, and a lot of you guys over there in the Discord. So, you know, somebody can definitely help, and you can tag me. I'll definitely respond to you over there in Discord. Yeah, until next time, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We got a new video coming out this Sunday for sure. And it's we got video 4, bonus video 4 of the series that we've been doing for Apple Home 101. We're getting a little bit more advanced, talking about some other techniques in this next video, so stay tuned for that. Also, a lot of really fun projects and exciting stuff that I just can't wait to share. Is coming. Check me out over on Instagram if you want to see like behind the scenes stuff, because I'm gonna start sharing a lot of that stuff over on Instagram. Just a lot of work, but some really fun projects to check out. So I'll be sharing a lot of that stuff over there as well. And until the next live stream, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless.